All right. Welcome, everybody. So, twice a year, I love to just give a brief introduction to crystal healing class because there's a lot of misinformation out there. There is a exponentially growing interest in crystals. And I just come at it differently from a lot of different teachers. And I have a lot of friends who teach crystal classes and they do it their way that's unique for them. I do it my way that's unique for me. So I just want to give you a little snippet. And if you are so inclined, my season of crystal healing classes are coming up pretty quickly. Deadline is approaching on one of the classes pretty quickly. So I will talk more about that because I will tell you when you really, really understand how crystals work, that means you understand vibrational frequency and it absolutely changes everything for the better. Absolutely changes everything. And that's what's different about my classes. We're not just talking crystals, I'm helping you understand vibrational frequency. So, the one thing that I did for this class, okay, so y'all are probably going to laugh at this. And my one of my business coaches would be horrified with what I did. So typically I just send this out to my entire email list. And I usually get about 50 of my crystal students who have already taken the 8 hour basic class, the 8 hour animal class, the 18-hour advanced class. I've certified them and they still come into an intro class. And I'm like, why are they coming into an intro class? They literally know everything that they need to legitimately start a business. And I asked a couple of them and they said, oh, we just like hanging out with crystal people. I excluded all of them. Okay. I excluded all of them. So everybody who registered for this has not taken one of my classes. So anyway, I just thought that was funny. And one of my coaches would be horrified at that, but it's like, no, I want to share this with people who may not have ever taken a class and certainly have never taken a full class from me. So welcome, 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 welcome. So some of you know me, some of you may not have been to a lot of my online classes. I teach a lot of free stuff online. And I have a lot of different certifications, but I come at this very differently because I have been an attorney for 31 years in the field of criminal prosecution. I don't know any other former prosecutor, 31-year attorney that teaches, vibrational energy wellness, crystals. I don't know anybody who does that. So you get my lawyer brain as I'm explaining crystals. Okay. So it's a very unique combination, which I love, and hopefully you will enjoy it. But I am multi-careered. I run a nonprofit that I created called Sheltering Animals and Families Together, where I work globally to help domestic violence shelters create on-site pet housing programs. I was literally meeting with the shelter in my new home location today to help them get on board. Um, but I work all over the world. I'm currently helping Portugal get on board with the program. So, and then I've had my energy wellness business for almost 15 years, and I have 10 certifications in energy wellness and coaching. I'm also an advanced crystal master teacher. I spent 18 months learning, mentoring, and like in an apprenticeship with a science teacher who gave me two certifications. And that's where I really, really understood what I always believed about crystals, that they're not just pretty little stones. They are not woo-woo. You can make them woo-woo, but they are not. So I'm also a Young Living brand partner, and I created the oily crystal. I call it the Oily Crystal Empire because I keep adding to it. I've got the book. Um, I've got the Oily Crystal Masterclass. I blend oils and crystals together for everything because everything that I teach is frequency. And when you learn how to eliminate harmful frequency and draw in beneficial frequency, your life changes. So that's what I love about the crystal classes. And I love going to the big Tucson show every year. And I also have a private crystal store, which I'll talk about more later. So if any of you, are any of you oilers? I mean, I recognize some of you in here who I know are. But if you work with essential oils and love crystals, and if you've heard people talking about blending them together, most people are wrong in what they're advising because it can be incredibly unsafe unless you know how. So not only did I write the Oily Crystal book, but I have an 8-hour masterclass. It's a 70-page workbook, and you can take it on demand, which I have a discount code for you if you want to take it. But I will tell you, I am 99% positive I'm going to bring this back as a live class in January. It's been 3 years since I taught it. I think I'm going to bring it back. But if you want to know more now, you can certainly get it at a discount as an on-demand class and just take your time. But that is where the magic happens, is when you really understand oils and crystals and how to put them together. I have a couple of other on-demand classes that you can grab. I mean, one of them is $8. Okay. Um, it's on the nervous system and vagus nerve reset. You can grab that right off my website. That is huge. 100% of human beings right now are in nervous system dysregulation. And I've even figured out, based on my own experiences, that if you have digestive issues, it's a nervous system issue. And a couple of doctors are really starting to figure that out now. So that's a very, very powerful class. And then the next class is if you want to learn how to do shadow work. There's a lot of misinformation out there. There's a lot of scary work or scary stuff out there. And the way I teach it, you should embrace it. It is awesome. There is nothing to be scared about. You integrate it, you let it empower you. So I got that class, and it's got a 29-page workbook that goes with it. So those are available to you should you wish to deep dive. And then if you love crystals and you're like, I don't even know where to start, um, I have a guided crystal journal. It is fantastic. It's 100 pages. You got 2 pages per day. I think there's like 40 entries, and it literally guides you through how to start working with crystals on a consistent basis. I also have descriptions of 160 of my favorite crystals in the back. It comes with a cute little pen that's etched on it. I love crystals. And I just finished a 7-day crystal challenge, and this is the book. This is what you want to work with. So if you're interested, that's also on my website. All right, let's dive in. Are you ready? First of all, in the chat, what's your favorite crystal? I want to know. Type it in the chat. Tell me what your favorite crystal is. Amethyst, amethyst. All right, we got two for amethyst. Labradorite. Yeah, labradorite is good. That one's beautiful. All right, anybody else? Amethyst. There are so many different varieties of amethyst. That's what I love to bring back when I go to the Tucson show. So many different varieties. So yeah, it certainly is a fan favorite, amethyst, and there are so many different varieties, and they all do something different. And I can trace it back to science. So let's dive into just a little bit of science. So in my crystal classes, I discuss two different belief systems about crystals. Neither is wrong. It's just wherever you are. Okay. And you can flip flop back and forth between the belief systems. There is the scientific belief and the purist belief. Because I'm a left brain lawyer, but I am very intuitive, with a practical spiritual business. I also have a very active right brain. I teach to appeal to both sides of your brain. I teach to help you understand if you are in scientific viewpoint or purist viewpoint, because they're different, but they are both right. And wherever you land is right for you. And the scientific viewpoint just looks at crystals very scientifically. But the scientific explanations actually explain all the metaphysical explanations, like rose quartz being a heart healer. Because the first time I heard that in a class, I literally blurted out, says who? Like, who said that? And the teacher couldn't answer it because he had no training in crystals. He just loved crystals and read the Crystal Bible and thought he'd teach a class. That's not okay. That's not sufficient in my book. You need to be able to answer that question. I now know the answer, and I teach it in my basic class and in my animal class. But let's talk just a little bit of science, okay? Just a little bit. So crystals have what is called a fixed repeating crystalline geometric pattern. That's how they grow. And this pattern forms from the inside out. Crystals are not stones. Crystals are not rocks. And when I hear crystal store owners and crystal teachers calling crystals stones or rocks, a little part of me dies inside. Stones and rocks, you're going to find out in your garden. They do not have the crystalline geometric pattern that crystals have. Crystals are very different, but they are all made of minerals. This crystal geometric pattern is called the crystal lattice, and that is what differentiates them from stones and rocks. Now, in some crystals, you can see a growth pattern. So I want you to look at this pink arrow here. Hold on, I'm trying to get the chat to reduce itself. So do you see the lines that the pink arrows are pointing to? Do you see the lines? That is a fluorite tower. It's actually in my office, and it is a phenomenal teacher. That crystal grew in a corkscrew pattern, and it grew from the inside out, and you can literally see the growth lines. And you can't see that in all crystals, but you can see it in a lot of quartz crystals. You can see it in this fluorite. And that is how crystals grow, from the inside out. It is the shapes and the patterns in crystals, the colors of crystals, the minerals in crystals that tell us how they work. And all of that fascinates me. So I love to teach my students all of that. Each shape means something different. A point is very different than a polished crystal. A polished crystal is different than a cluster. Blue crystals are different than red crystals. Okay? Crystals with iron are very different than crystals with manganese or silica. Okay? I explain all of this in my classes. When I see overly shaped and polished and overly processed crystals, they honestly have lost that crystalline lattice internally. I do talk about in my class how it's virtually impossible to destroy a crystal, but you can impact it by tampering with that crystalline lattice where the crystal grows from the inside out. So I love to help my students be super smart shoppers. Okay. There's a lot of fake stuff on the market. So crystals have what's called a base resonant frequency. It's just a base frequency that is constant. and it's not impacted by entropy, which is destruction. Humans and animals, on the other hand, suffer from high rates of entropy because our physical structure and our cells are not fixed. They fluctuate all day long. Okay. We can wake up in the morning and feel really groggy, and then maybe we have orange juice or a little bit of caffeine and we start to wake up. And then we get in our car and somebody road rages and we get angry. And then we go into the office and we see our favorite person and we feel uplifted. And then we see the cranky person in our office and we go back down. We go up and down all day long because we are an energy being made of water and minerals. And that's a fascinating discussion in my advanced class of how alike we are to crystals. But we are mostly water and water fluctuates. That has been scientifically proven. We are naturally drawn to crystals as human beings because we have crystals in our body. The animal kingdom, which we are a part of, the mineral kingdom, which is crystals, and the plant kingdom, which is essential oils or just being in nature, they all communicate in vibrational frequencies with each other. So in my classes, I go into the scientific principles to help you understand why you are drawn to certain crystals. A lot of you love amethyst. I help you understand why you love amethyst. And when you see a table of amethyst at a crystal store, there is one that gets your attention. I help you scientifically understand why that is. That makes you such a smart crystal shopper once you understand that. So I go into physics principles. I really help you understand physics and quantum physics. And the short story is that when it comes to this base resonant frequency, which we have, crystals have, everybody has it, we suffer from high rates of entropy. Crystals are set in their structure. They don't change. They don't change at all. They don't suffer from entropy. You can take a crystal, you can smash it on the floor, and you still have the crystalline lattice. So they have very low entropy. But what happens is the crystals dominate our energy. We have an energy field around us. They dominate us. And what happens is they dominate us at a cellular level, at a DNA level. They dominate the water in our body. And this has been scientifically proven. So we end up synchronizing with the crystal. And this is why you are not crazy when you hold a crystal or you have a crystal in your pocket or maybe one on your desk or one on your, nightstand at night and you feel great. You're not crazy. It's science. And I love to help people understand that. I love it. The aha moments in these classes are phenomenal. And so everything is energy or frequency. Everything has a vibrational rate to it. So the chair that you're sitting in is vibrational frequency that is vibrating at a rate to make it a chair. This makes me a little nervous when I'm in an airplane and I realize I'm 35,000 feet in the air in nothing more than vibrating frequency. Okay, I just need to binge watch The Office on the little airline television screen because that's a little unnerving. It's a little unnerving. But everything is vibrational frequency. Every mineral in a crystal has a specific vibrational frequency. And the concentration of the mineral and the combination with other minerals is what differentiates each and every crystal, which is why they all have different things that they do. Now, we end up synchronizing with the crystal because the crystal dominates us. I mean, it's basic physics. It dominates us. We are the weaker, more controllable energy field. So when we have crystals in our home or we have crystals on us, we become the crystal. So crystals have an energy field around them. And in my basic class and in the animal class, I show you a technique on how to measure the energy field of crystals, and it'll blow your mind because you can do it. You can do it super easy. And the short story is that the bigger the crystal, the bigger the energy field that it has. But you'll be stunned to see how big the energy field is of a small tumbled crystal, how many feet it radiates out. So this is why when you have crystals in your home, like that, I need to update that photo. That's in my home that I just moved out of. I had crystals all over my home. I loved the crystals on my fireplace mantle because that was in a location where I did a lot of teaching and everybody felt it. Down here, I have crystals all feng shuied around my house in very specific locations. But when we have crystals in our energy field, our energy field is an egg-shaped field around us. The crystals come into it and start to influence us. So, if any of you have ever read the book called Biology of Belief by Dr. Bruce Lipton, that is one of my favorite books. There are two books that I always recommend to everybody, and that is one of them. It will change how you think about your biology. So Dr. Bruce Lipton is a cellular biologist, and in that book, he talks about how our DNA has fractal antennas. And those fractal antennas examine our surroundings every nanosecond of the day. Right now, my DNA antennas are like, ooh, computer. Ooh, there's a glass of water. Ooh, there's a crystal. Ooh, there's my cat Rudy. It's looking for frequencies. And the DNA will reshape to synchronize with the frequency it encounters. This is why when you are around somebody who is very positive and uplifting and joyful, they lift you up and you feel good. But it's when you're around your friend who complains all the time, and I know you just thought of somebody because I just did. And when you are around that person, you walk away feeling worse because your DNA reshaped itself to that frequency. A lot of people think DNA is set in stone. It reshapes itself all the time, which is empowering. It's really empowering to us. Now imagine you introduce a crystal into your energy field. The crystal acts as an oscillator. An oscillator is a frequency stabilizer. And the crystal entrains or synchronizes our energy field to it. So this is one of my favorite crystals that I love to work with. It's called Shattuckite. It's incredibly rare, but it's got quartz in it. It is such a gorgeous color. It's so calming. Right now, it is dominating me, absolutely dominating my energy field. I can feel it. And this is how we work on energy blocks to get rid of them. So, understanding the layers of the energy field can help the flow of energies. It's how we manifest physical ailments. By the time you manifest something physically wrong in the body, it's been out here in the energy field working for a while. And these layers have meaning. I go into that in my classes. And when a disruptive energy, a negative energy, comes in, it'll make its way through the energy field and it'll penetrate. And that's why usually you feel it emotionally before you feel it physically, which is why negative emotions, stress, anxiety, depression literally make us physically sick. Okay. So here's something interesting. Here's a little science for you. There was a discovery in 1991 by two scientists who discovered 40,000 sensory cells in our heart. called sensory neuritis. And these cells work independently of the brain. It's a neural network independent of the brain. They proved that the heart thinks, remembers, and it feels independent of the brain because of these sensory cells. That is amazing. Our heart thinks, remembers, and feels. Trauma is experienced not only in the brain, but in the heart, which is why talk therapy doesn't fully work unless you are engaging the heart. We have to heal the heart center. Coherence, and I talk about this a lot in my classes, I talk about heart brain coherence. That's when you get your heart and your brain communicating together because they are each a brain. The vibrational frequencies being stronger than human willpower to sabotage us will, will literally get us into coherence. And that's where the magic and that's where the manifesting happens. Now, there was a medical doctor. This is another book you can get. It's called Vibrational Medicine by Dr. Richard Gerber. And he passed away before he could write his second book, but it's a thick book all about vibrational medicine. And in that book, he said the physical body is so energetically connected and dependent on the etheric body, which is out here. Okay. And it's dependent on this etheric body for cellular guidance that the physical body cannot exist without this energy body. If this etheric field, the energy body, becomes distorted, physical disease soon follows. He said many illnesses begin first in the etheric body, and then they manifest in the physical body as organ pathology. That's from an MD who understood energy frequency. So, what is so beautiful about crystals is they contain the DNA of the earth. The earth has her own healing frequencies. I mean, we feel great when we're out in nature, right? Or walking the beach. Why do you think I moved to Lake Michigan? I was here all the time. It's like, well, I might as well just move there. So crystals transmit an energy, and by holding a crystal, laying it on your body, having it in your energy field, you will feel it. You will start to synchronize to what it is offering. I teach you how to understand what it is offering. Because while crystal books can be great for descriptions, that's not how I teach. I teach you how to make your own descriptions. So, quantum physics has proven through the law of harmonic resonance that humans put out a frequency that activates other like frequencies to attract to us. We draw in who we are, not what we want. So, if you're surrounded by people and things that you don't want, you have to change your frequency, and that's where crystals come in. Okay, so crystals can ground you, they can transmute electromagnetic frequencies, they can raise your frequency. Now, here's my question. In the chat, answer to me whether you believe the crystal on the left, a citrine, or the crystal on the right, a smoky quartz, are they real? Are they natural? Are they natural? Did they come out of the earth looking like that? Are they man-made? Are they tampered with? Or is that how Mother Nature produced them? Okay, I'm seeing a variety of answers. All right. Here's the thing. Both of those naturally came out of the earth, but then they were tampered with by humans to create those colors. And I help you understand how to identify these and how that process works. Yes, they are still a crystal. The tampering changed the mineral. It changed the mineral content so that the color came out differently. So it's still a real crystal. And like I said, remember how I said at the beginning, I teach the scientific and the purist method? And that's what I came up with. This is my philosophy. I explain it scientifically. The scientifics say it's still a crystal. The purists say, mm-mm, no way, no how, and they won't touch them. And I help you understand the difference, and wherever you fall is right for you. Okay? I love doing that. All right, what about this? Are these real natural crystals? What do you think? I see these at every crystal show. All right. I'm seeing fake. I'm seeing no. Okay. Laboratory. Yeah. Okay. These are fakety, fakey fakes. Now, here's the thing. Some of these started off as real crystals and they baked titanium on them at such a high heat that it destroyed the crystalline lattice. So they are nothing more than a rock. There is no vibrational frequency in that at all. Mm-mm, not at all. Some of these were made in a lab, and I teach you how to identify that because it's so obvious. It's like once you know, it's like, ew. Like I won't even buy any crystal from a dealer who offers that because do you see anything on that table that says lab created or laboratory you know tampered with? They say titanium coated. Well, titanium does come from the earth. That titanium didn't happen in the earth. Mother Nature creates beautiful crystals, but not those colors. Not at all. And not like that. Not so uniform. I love teaching this so that you really understand. So let's talk about current energies. Okay, so we live in a very energetically stressful world right now, and we are in an energy shift. Most people don't have the tools or the information to handle it or to really understand what is happening. We are going through an evolution. Humans have always evolved. We are going through an evolution. Kind of feels like when we were in junior high. Everybody is hormonal, growing, cranky, they don't feel good. And I see it. I see it playing out. I see it in how physically unwell people are. I see it how emotionally imbalanced people are because it's coming through in horrific violence and treating each other badly. And some people think the treating badly is okay, and other people are really reacting to it. Everybody is having an emotional reaction. I see the mental energy and the nervous system disorders that we never used to have. The nervous system of the human being is fried, absolutely fried. And I see spiritually how disconnected people are from recognizing truth because their intuition is dulled. They're so programmed by everything out there. Crystals is one of the best tools for dealing with all this change and all this transformation and really elevating your frequency to a different vantage point. I often give the example of you can either be on the ground in a very chaotic environment and you just see the chaos and the arguing and the violence and the bickering and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't. I don't want to see it. Or you can be in an airplane and you're looking out the window. So you see what's happening, but you're not in it. And you're like, oh, look at what's happening. Those on the ground in the chaos are in the old energies. Those that are in the airplane looking and saying, oh, look at that. Okay, I can do something about that. I can do something. I can use my frequency to help lift up other people. That's the second book that I always recommend to people. It's called The Map of Consciousness by David Hawkins. Get that book. It'll change everything. It'll change how you show up in the world because your vibration could literally change millions of people. And that's what this energy shift is. So The earth is changing her vibration. It is no longer the 7.83 hertz that it was for decades. It is dramatically increasing. It is spiking. It is leaving people anxious and ungrounded. There are astrological events that are happening that are influencing us. And for people who say, well, Allie, I don't believe in astrology. Well, it doesn't matter if you believe in it. It's energy and it's movement. Planets move. Planets move, and we are water. So imagine a planet is a little pebble and you throw it in a very still lake, it creates ripples. We are the lake. The moon and the planets are the pebbles being thrown in. All the ripples are happening. So, science just tells us you can't move something and not have a reaction. Okay? It's just this basic physics. Everything is energy, and every movement creates another energy. And when they start combining together, ooh, it can be intense if you don't know how to deal with it. It can be intense. Crystals can ground us to the earth so that we are riding these energies better. It's like we're all on a roller coaster, and when you have crystals, you're belted in. The people who don't have any tools to help them, they are not belted in on that roller coaster. So everybody's screaming. They are screaming out of fear. We are screaming out of, oh my gosh. And then you get to the end and it's like, can we do it again? Whereas they are freaked out and traumatized. Okay. We are influenced by technology and electromagnetic frequencies, which are only growing in their frequency. We have no idea what the frequencies from technology and Wi-Fi and EMFs are doing to the water in our body. Because water, you shake it, it changes structure. It has been scientifically proven that the words that you say to water changes how it looks under a microscope. And I show you all of that in the crystal classes. So you can use crystals to really help with these frequencies. And I actually show you an instrument that I use that proves that certain crystals help. We have toxins. I mean, we live in a world full of toxins, and that negatively impacts our DNA. But crystals can help our DNA synchronize in a healthier way. Because remember, our DNA has fractal antennas and synchronizes to the frequencies around it. I'd rather have my DNA synchronizing to a crystal than to toxins or to Wi-Fi. And that's why I have so many crystals in my house. We are also surrounded by toxic emotions. And with all the divisiveness in the world, all the anger, all the rage, all the shaming, all the judgment, all the negativity, crystals can help you feel better, to help you feel connected to the earth, because we have to feel grounded, but also put you up in that airplane so that you are not in the fray at all. You're knowledgeable, you're looking, and you're like, okay, let's start thinking at things differently. They give you balance. And there are crystals that really help you with balance. So I have been teaching since I started my business 14 years ago that we have to ground and ascend our energy simultaneously. Back then, nobody was saying that, but I knew that's exactly what we had to do, and I have not changed my tune. We cannot just be grounded, and we cannot just raise our frequency. We have to do both. We have to work on our shadow, which is just the part of us that is hidden, that we hid. And we usually hid it when we were in childhood. And it could have been a relative saying to you, don't boast and don't show off. And you took that seriously and you stopped shining. So you can work with crystals to not eliminate that and get rid of it, but to embrace it, integrate it, and let it empower you. I really differ from a lot of healers and a lot of teachers who just preach that you have to fix yourself. There's something wrong with you. You have a trauma, you have this, you have that, and you have to fix yourself and do this and it'll fix yourself. There is nothing in you that is wrong at all. It's what I have learned about crystals is they help us remember who we are, who we really are at a soul level, because they help to block out the noise. And when you remember who you are, and even if traumatic things happened in the past, you stop suppressing it. You look at it, you integrate it, you alchemize it, you embrace it, you let it empower you. That's where the magic happens. So I love to help people understand that with crystals, to release the blocks, to release the unforgiveness, to release the disempowerment. Um, I talk about a lot of this stuff in I have a membership group, a spiritual community called the Sacred Shift. That community only opens twice a year to join. Um, keep that in mind because it's going to open December 1st. I kind of feel right now I may need to open it a little sooner because I think people need to get in. We're having very deep conversations um, about things that are happening right now in our world to understand them from an energetic perspective from being in the airplane. And I tell everybody, grab a crystal, grab an essential oil because we're going to talk about things that are going to challenge your beliefs, challenge long-standing programming, and get you to look at things from an elevated viewpoint. So you can go to my website, you can get on the wait list for that, but keep that in mind. Um, but there's a lot of things that are happening. So with all of that, I want to give you a couple of tips of if you have crystals right now, and I know some of you have. Maybe you never knew how to use them. Maybe they're sitting in a drawer, or you can't even find them. I'm amazed at the number of people who tell me that they've just misplaced their crystals. It's like, what? How do you not have like a leash on them? I have a leash on all my crystals. I have about 500 pounds of crystals in my home. I know exactly where every single piece is. And even when I was moving, it's like I know exactly what box that crystal is in. That's the relationship to have with your crystals because it's changing your frequency. Okay. So, things that you can do if you have larger pieces, they can even just be the size of a grapefruit. Lay them around your house. Okay. Those are good for changing the energy in the air. And you may find that people, if you have pets, everybody just starts getting along. That's what crystals do. You can put crystals in your workspace, in your office. I will tell you, do not put quartz crystals near computers, Wi-Fi routers, or televisions. I explain why in my classes. Those are not the crystals at all to put in your office or near those areas. Um, put crystals on your nightstand that are calming and soothing. And I'm going to give you some crystals to think about. You can wear crystals as a necklace or as a bracelet. Um, crystals and rings they're pretty. They're honestly so small and so polished and processed. You're probably not going to get a whole lot out of them, but bracelets, yes. Necklaces, yes. I mean, I'm a big fan of putting crystals in your pocket. I teach you which side of the body to put them on because it makes a difference. You can put crystals in water to drink. We actually do crystal water taste testing in my actually in all my classes, basic, animal, and advanced class, so that you can understand which ones are safe and you will taste a difference in them. Um, you can hold crystals during meditation or prayer or quiet time. I take crystals when I go walk the beach of Lake Michigan. I always have a crystal in my pocket. Sometimes it's in my hand. Always, always, always on my body. And you can lay them on the body for balance. You can lay them. I'll teach you how to lay them on your chakras. In the advanced class, we start going off body, different parts of the body. We start getting very advanced on layouts. But these are just some ways that you can start working with your crystals right now. Now, I'm going to give you some recommendations, and I have 2 slides. You can screenshot this, but you're also going to get the recording. Now, I don't have time to go into the individual descriptions, but I wanted to give you 2 crystals per emotional issue. I'm not going into physical because that requires a lot more detailed explanation. But I discuss these classes or these crystals in depth in my classes and will help you understand why these crystals do what they do. So it's not the repeated information you see from crystal book to crystal book or the unexplained information on the internet. I tell you why. I help you understand why angelite and blue lace agate are my go-tos for anger and rage. They're blue. Okay, this is shadakite. This is a more advanced crystal. It's blue. Blue is cooling and calming. Okay. So this is what I work with. And then there's another one. And this is more for like mindset, mental state of crystals that you can work with. And again, you're welcome to take a screenshot, but you are going to get the recording on this. Okay, so having crystals on you or around you is fantastic. But the real transformation happens when you know how crystals work, how you can work with them in specific ways, because it comes down to intention. It comes down to what do you need the crystal to do? What's your issue? You pick the crystal and then you basically give the crystal a job. I teach you how to do that. I give you the why. So it's not just, oh, I just have this crystal sitting on my desk and I don't know what she does. I just let her sit here. Yeah, she's still going to work on you. But when you understand, ooh, this is shadakite with quartz. Quartz amplifies. So the shadakite is like superwoman power. And this is incredibly calming because of the color. And the minerals are very grounding, but elevating. And blue works on the throat chakra. So this is all about elevating how you communicate with people. And I even go deeper than that. I literally help you dive into these crystals to understand. So, all right. So what do I offer in my classes? So I have a basic 8-hour class and an animal 8-hour class. I have an advanced class that's 18 hours. You have to take basic or animal in order to get into the advanced. I offer group discounts, and if you work or volunteer with the animals, you even get a discount on the animal class. But what I do is I go into the scientific makeup of the crystals in a really like easy to understand way so that you're like, aha, now I understand why rose quartz is the heart healer. I help you understand the power of quartz crystals, which is the most abundant crystal on the planet. Um, I talk about the different forms. I talk about how to cleanse crystals, which is different than what other people talk about. There are certain crystals you can program, and there are other crystals don't program. I teach you how to program crystals because Silicon Valley is doing it. Because in your smartphone and in your computer and in your tablet and in your LCD screen that makes up your television, it's all run on crystalline energy. The whole technology industry is run on crystalline energy. In fact, they are buying up some of the mines, which is why certain crystals are becoming more expensive, like rutilated quartz and celestite. They need the rutiles in rutilated, they need the strontium that's in celestite, and that's why the prices are going up. This is the stuff that I focus on to help people understand. But I will help you understand chakra balancing, how to make crystal grids. Let's see. There's a crystal grid. I hope you understand. How do you put that together? It's a whole recipe and it is amazing to work with. I hope you understand body grids and how to work with the crystals and make crystal elixirs. And then with animals, we do not use crystals with animals the same way we use them. Because with people, it's usually mindset, it's beliefs that get in our way and create the emotions and create the physical dysfunction. Animals don't have that. Animals are just physical and behavioral. And that's it. So it's very different, my animal class. But you get the same science foundation. It's just when we get to working with the crystals, it's a very different way of working with animals because you have to get consent. How do you let them pick? I teach you how to do that. And then in the advanced class, this just blows your mind. It will. All my students are like, oh my gosh, it's crazy. It's 18 hours of training. I go very, very deep into sacred geometry. You get some of that in the basic and the animals, but I go deep into it. I go deep into the energy shift and how crystals are formed and crystal systems, identifying fakes, and the master crystals, which are all quartz and all of these advanced techniques. So you get a workbook that I created and continue to update every year with each class. I mean, the advanced class workbook is 140 pages and growing. Okay. Um, and the one thing that is unique, I don't know if you watched the video that I sent out in an email a couple of days ago, labeled 5 reasons that my classes are different. I teach online. And when I look at other crystal teachers, like reputable, like I know that they have the credentials like I do, if they are teaching online, it's pre-recorded. It's pre-recorded. I don't do that. You get me live, like here, where you can interrupt with a question and say, Allie, time out. I don't get it. I don't get it. Back it up. Explain it. But I love how the students drive the conversation. Every class is different because I don't regurgitate the manual to you. You got the manual, okay? You can read that. It's an outline. What I talk about for 8 hours or 18 hours is beyond the manual and it's driven by the students. So every class is a little bit different and you get the recordings for the class. Now, after the advanced class, it opens up 3 different certifications. So I offer a certified crystal healer, certified animal crystal healer, and a certified advanced crystal healer. So I talk about that at the end of the advanced class. So for anybody who has a business and you're like, ooh, I really want to start incorporating crystals, maybe you're a yoga teacher, you do energy work, you're a veterinarian, you're a physical therapist. Yeah, you can incorporate crystals. You can get a certification. So these are my dates. Since I moved, I only have one class in person, and it's the basic class, and that deadline's coming up pretty fast. I think it's September 24th is the deadline. Um, Otherwise, all the classes are online. Okay, so you got a little bit of time, and I split the classes into 4.5 hour segments. I used to do 9 hour segments. Okay, we'd be on from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and I was even exhausted. So we do 9 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. And we do back-to-back days, Saturday, Sunday. Okay, so those are the dates, and you also get a set of crystals because you are going to work with crystals in the class. You get hands-on, you're doing stuff in the class. You get crystals, you get a workbook, you get a certificate of attendance. So what are your next steps? So I'd love to have you in class. I'd love to have you in class because the aha moments in the classes go far beyond learning about crystals. You are going to learn so much about yourself. You're going to learn energy frequency. It's going to change how you look at everything for the better. It's going to improve so much. I mean, it's just going to crack open your brain and all this information is going to pour in. Now, after you take a class, you get an invitation to my Crystal Cluster membership group. This is exclusive to my students. If you haven't taken the basic, the animal, class, you don't get an invitation. You have to take that. So this is a membership community, and we do continuing education, and you get first access to my crystal store. And for any of you who have seen my crystal sales that I do once a month on the Manifested Harmony Facebook page, I just did one um, 2 days ago. I will tell you, 90% of the crystals that come into my store never make it public. They are snatched up by the crystal cluster. So I'm not joking. 90%, it actually could be higher. It could be higher. I did a sale, not this past Sunday, but the Sunday before for the crystal cluster, thinking I was going to have a decent number of 5 crystals that I've never had in my store. I thought I was going to have a decent number left for a public sale. No. Four of the types completely sold out. I only had one type left, and I think I had 10 crystals left of it. So that's why people love the crystal cluster, but it's continuing education. So, like this month, we have a feng shui expert coming in. And for anybody who knows Ed Daly with Young Living, it's his wife that's coming in to talk to us about feng shui. And then the next month, I'm going to continue the conversation and we're going to talk about crystals for feng shui. So it's a really interesting, easy group to get into. You get in, you can get in, but you gotta take one of the classes because I have to know that you have a foundation in crystals based on how I teach it. I need to know that you have a foundation in science because everybody's got to have that foundational level. Okay. Another step that you can take is get the guided crystal journal, and it'll guide you through just how to use one crystal a day or one crystal a week, and help you get in the practice. If you also are an oiler, you can grab the on-demand class, the Oily Crystal Master Class, or wait until I bring it back live in January. So, and when the Sacred Shift opens again for enrollment, I mean, you can check it out on my website, manifestedharmony.com. Join the wait list and consider hopping in because the people that are in that group, we've been doing it for 5 years. I have seen dramatic shifts. That's why it's called the Sacred Shift. So, all right, there's lots of ways that we can stay connected. So here, I'm going to stop the recording so that you can ask questions for those of you here live, and for those watching the recording. Thank you so much for being here. It's a pleasure to share this with you.